Everybody get in together, tight. Get in tighter. Now let's go. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, win.
Hello and welcome to Pitt Beyond the Script alongside Panthers head coach Pat Narduzzi. I'm Rob King of AT&T Sportsnet. Coach, let's take a brief look back at the Virginia Tech game on Saturday. First of all, did you have any kind of overall thoughts when you left the stadium and headed back to Pittsburgh?
You know what, there's always, you have thoughts. I mean, you don't stop thinking on that airplane back, and you try to evaluate, and you're watching videotape, on the airplane, on the bus trip from Blacksburg to Roanoke, watching what's going on and trying to just evaluate what happened. And it was one of those days that, offensively we just couldn't get going. We got in no rhythm. It was 3 plays and back on the sideline punt. I think we punted the ball 8 times. But you're not going to muster much offense when you do that. And we put our defense in a bad position. A lot of times we lost the time position. Our defense, besides really 3 explosive plays, and the big pass was one that really gets you. There's a couple of reverses they got on you that kept the drives going. But we gave up 14 points plus of the 28, we had a 25-yard drive when we go for it on fourth and short. So I was happy with the defense, and I thought our punt team was better than it's been. Because they brought a lot of pressure at us. They tried to come after some punts. We knew they would, that Beamer ball. And I thought we protected our punter, and our net punting was much better.
I will circle back to 2 things. First of all, we'll get to the offense in a moment, but the defense, really you talked about, first of all, people see 28 points. Maybe they didn't watch the game. They don't know that there's a defensive touchdown, the short drive, as you mentioned, and really, the offsides, so the penalties was an issue. When you jump offsides on that 4th down late in the first half, they wind up scoring 7 more points there that maybe don't happen if you don't jump offsides there. So when you evaluate the defense, you can't simply look at the score.
No doubt about it. You can look at some of the stats after the game going, geez, they rushed that many times and got, less than 3 yards per carry rush-wise, and that's what you look at in the end. But you want to be perfect. The 3 plays that we gave up, especially the long pass, and Cam Bright went and made the tackle and gave us another yard to stand on there. But that was just a bust in the back end, and again, I have a route we hadn't seen in a coverage that we don't run a ton of, and those things happen.
Lost the ball, and they implode. Loose ball. Pitt seems to have it in midfield.
When you talk about trying to defend a team as we move forward now and look ahead to the last game coming up against BC, it used to be, I think, teams had some subtle differences you had to be prepared for. It seems like this is a stark difference. Like Boston College is completely different than so many other teams you face. 2 huge physical running backs. They're one of the best running teams in the country, 6th in the nation in rushing yards per game. This is a different test than maybe defenses are used to these days.
It really is, but in Pittsburgh we love this challenge. I love this challenge of playing that type of offense. It's back to old school. It looks a little bit like the old Big Ten when I first got into it back a few years ago, and it's what we're used to. It's kind of where we'd like to play. I'd much rather be sitting there playing against that than playing in the spread offense RPO at North Carolina. I guarantee you that. Our kids will be more comfortable playing this type of ball.
Well, it did make me wonder because teams, especially your front 7, are so used to, let's be fast. Let's get to the guys who are trying to get to the edge. Let's track down this quarterback who's got some speed. Maybe a little bit different than, hey, offensive linemen are going to come straight at you, try to blow you off the ball, and then the guy behind him one guy weighs 240, the other guy weighs 250.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're big backs. They're physical. AJ's, obviously, one of the best in the country. And the interesting thing about stopping their run, we got people blocking them, but the people don't realize it's harder to stop like last week's run because that quarterback is a threat. You're trying to defend 11, and that's another 220-pound guy, quarterback running the football. How many times did he carry the ball? I don't even know. At Virginia Tech with the hooker kid. So, now you got a guy that's going to hand it off, but there's less guys you have to defend. So it kind of gives you a little bit of numbers that way.
Well, a lot to play for, obviously, this Saturday, and for the Panthers continuing on in the 2019 season. And we're going to continue on with Coach Narduzzi coming up in just a little bit on Pitt Beyond the Script.